we are having here in Twin Cities the ninth Arab Film Festivals coming November 6th to November 9th, and we are talking here to Mohannad.
A number of films will be on Sunday. I think our first screening on Sunday is at 10:30. Starts at 10:30, and our closing screening is at 7:30 p.m.
Which
And that's with La Mu'akhza.
Lamon.
Excuse my French.
What's with the Lamon with Arab movies, Mohannad? Okay, tell us a little bit. What's your role in the Arab Film Festival, and this is the third time you are organizing this?
I think this is my fourth time curating.
Mhm.
I am curator again of the film festival. Yes.
What are the trends now? How's it different than the first three?
Well, for one thing, far more films are being made.
Hmm.
I think this has to do with two things principally. First, the proliferation of digital recording and editing technology, which is quite powerful and inexpensive compared to what had predated it. Um, with film capture and editing devices that were much more expensive and therefore more exclusive. I think the second reason is the proliferation of, especially in the Arab Gulf or the Persian Gulf, centers of funding of Arab cinema, which has, and more money has led to more films being made. So that's one major trend. A second major trend, I would say, is a diffusion in the centers of filmmaking. Whereas historically, 90% of the filmic product in the Arab world came out of Egypt, it seemed. And then the other 10% was shared between Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Lebanon, Syria, and maybe a title here and there. Now we see a lot more coming out of these historically film-centered cities. So, our film festival demonstrates this. We've got films from Iraq, we have films from the UAE, we have a film from Somalia, or Somaliland, I suppose, specifically, depending on your political persuasion. We have a film from Jordan, a feature narrative film from Jordan. I don't think that 10 years ago one existed.
Uh, Tell us a little bit how we've been living the Arab Spring in the last 3 years, and how it affects the filmmaking. And a lot of movies are made about Arab Spring things, and Arab Spring, we don't even know what there is. It's still in the making and changing. How this affects cinema and films in the Arab world.
Well, I think the influence is twofold. First and more importantly, you have filmmakers who live in those societies, film artists who live in those societies, who are impacted by the political, economic, security, military changes that have come about with the wave of revolutions, which were dubbed the Arab Spring, starting about 4 years ago now.
Mhm.
And secondly, you have institutions that are responding to filmmakers wanting to channel the influence or the effect of or the impression of what's happening around them. And so they support, possibly with a decided bias towards projects that seem to connect or relate or bring up Arab Spring. Topicality often sort of suggests importance, and funders like to support quote-unquote important projects. So I think that you see the result of this evident in the last two film festivals we've had, and again in this one. Although we begin to see more, I won't say cynicism, criticism, satire, uh, and sort of an attitude of questioning what benefits may have been incurred from the wave of revolutions that have taken place. And we have a filmmaker who's attending, Nadia Shihab, whose film called Amal's Garden was made 2 or 3 years ago, and it sort of presented a hopeful tone in the manner of its principal two characters, who are Turkoman Iraqis living in northern Iraq, in what may be dubbed Kurdistani Iraq, refurbishing their home, obviously with a hopeful eye towards the future. This has been altered, this hopeful prospect has been demolished by what's taken place in Iraq, particularly in northern Iraq, in the last several months. And so, realizing that the content of a film may seem dated, we have aspired in the as I including myself as curator, to try and bring some of this stuff to date, so that we don't seem fossilized in some sort of exaggeratedly exalted feeling about what liberty and democracy, the so-called Arab Spring, has brought our way.
Your role is, I'm sure, to reflect the diversity of Arab filmmaking, and having a festival in Minnesota and that venue in the Twin Cities. Would the festival be different if you have it in Los Angeles or in Dubai? Or?
Certainly. I mean, you've noticed in the past that we've screened films by local filmmakers. More than a single film by Bizri, who was a professor at the University of Minnesota and a filmmaker himself. This year we're screening a number of films, between 3 and 5 films made by Iraqi Minnesotans.
Oh.
Yes, in coordination with the organization that made these filmmaking opportunities possible. We've worked in consolidation with the IARP to create serve as a forum for these films that will be screening in our festival on Saturday morning, as part of a segment that we've called Untold Stories: Immigrants, Children, and Expats.
How many films altogether are you going to be showing those about 4 days here? Thursday, Wednesday, so 4 days.
So a single film, the opener on Thursday evening, that's Rock the Casbah, and then 3 more days. To be honest with you, I haven't counted them, but I figured them about 30.
Wow.
I would say that the 2 films, since they're sort of, at this point we're kind of, we're tracing the conversation we've been having about the politically charged films and films that relate to events that have taken place in much of the Arab world in the last few years, namely civic and governmental unrest. Would you agree with that description? So the 2 films that come to mind more than any others in our festival as being critical of government are the Shalat Tunis, or Shalat of Tunis, by Kauthar bin Haniya out of Tunisia. And the second is the Egyptian, and that's a sort of I would call that a mockumentary. And then a narrative feature by the director, I think probably the most promising and possibly the most talented of the younger corps of Egyptian directors, named Ahmed Abdullah. And that film is called Rags and Tatters, or in Arabic, Farsh Ghata. Rags and Tatters is about as close as Arab cinema has come to nihilism among probably all of the Arab films that I've ever seen.
Wow,
It is a potent, powerful, nihilistic work. And I also think that, yeah, despite its recognition in a number of film festivals, including in London, I don't think that it's received the recognition it deserves. I think 10, 20 years from now, we're going to look back upon this work and think that it was really significant.
Always a pleasure to talk to you. Looking forward to see you here in the Twin Cities.
Thank you very much. Remember, November 6th to the 9th in St. Anthony Main Theatre, Nadia Shihab and Ilyan Rihab, two directors, are coming. We promise a great event and a lot to be talked about and remembered. Thank you.